Hey everybody, it's your captain here. So, because I'm a kid at heart and a huge nerd on top of that, I've had dinosaurs on the brain for weeks, maybe months, or let's be honest, my entire life. Anyway, that's why I decided that I wanted to share with you my top 10 favorite dinosaurs. Hope you enjoy. Number 10, the Brontosaurus, also known as the Thunder Lizard. Yeah, it was kind of dorky. Not to be confused with the Apatosaurus. They're closely related but separate species. For a brief period of time, scientists thought they were the same thing just by different names, but apparently they are significantly different. Part of the late Jurassic period and is a, hey, North American dinosaur. That's pretty cool. And it's probably the first dinosaur I remember from my childhood, hence why I have such an attachment. It was the first dinosaur name I probably learned, I remember seeing on TV and things like that. So, yeah, number 10, the Brontosaurus. Number 9, the Spinosaurus, also known as the spine lizard, from North Africa, mainly Egypt. Makes sense from Jurassic Park 3. Spinosaurus aegypticus, whatever. Among the largest of all known carnivore dinosaurs, kind of always reminded me of a cross between a T-Rex and a crocodile, considering it hunted from the water and would hunt both terrestrial and aquatic prey. So, and the whole, just the way it looked, it was a complete badass and looked awesome in Jurassic Park 3, even though that son of a bitch should have lost the fight to the T-Rex, because while the fight was cool looking, even though it should have been longer and more entertaining, that T-Rex landed the first hit, and anybody who knows anything about dinosaurs knows that first bite should have just ended the Spinosaurus. But no, they decided to do their thing, whatever. Doesn't change the fact the Spinosaurus is a pretty neat dinosaur. So it makes the list. Number 8, the Dimetrodon. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking it's not technically a dinosaur, and you're right, it isn't. But I grew up thinking it was a dinosaur and always loved his design. The fact that he was a carnivore but looked like an herbivore, and I've always got a thing for herbivores. I don't know what it is. I've never been much of a carnivore guy. But his name means two measures of teeth, and they mostly originated from Texas and Oklahoma. That's odd. But it's a nice little dinosaur. Whatever, I'm calling it a dinosaur even though it's not a dinosaur. And it's popped up throughout history in certain areas. I like the little throwback it gets, or the, not throwback, shout out it gets in World of Warcraft when you face the Dimetrodon looking things in Ngoro Crater. Yeah, those were always fun. So, yeah, Dimetrodon. Number 7, the Velociraptor. Yeah, I know, so low on the list, like I said before. The name stands for Swift Caesar. Not like the salad or the pizza. It's like you seize the moment sort of thing. Anyways, it's originated in Mongolia and made increasingly popular by Jurassic Park franchise, even though it's probably the most inaccurate portrayal on screen of any dinosaur. And it'd be actually really cool to see an actual portrayal of the way the Velociraptor looked like, because it was the size of a turkey and it was covered in feathers. And if you ask me, that's just as terrifying as what we actually got. And probably the most famous fossil specimen ever found was of a raptor locked in combat with a protoceratops. It was actually pretty neat to look at. So, Velociraptors, both terrifying and fascinating. Number 6, the Brachiosaurus. Originated in North America, this has to be one of the largest known dinosaurs in history. It was very, very big and beautiful, and I just want to ride down the back of its neck like a giant slide. And just, it's one of the most majestic scenes in Jurassic Park when we're first introduced to the Brachiosaur, because it's the very first on-screen dinosaur we see. Despite the fact that it is sort of fact that the Brachiosaur was a little front heavy and would not be able to rear up on its hind legs, you know, the way it did. What? Jurassic Park got something wrong? I know, right? But it doesn't take away from the fact that that moment captures just the complete awe of seeing a dinosaur on screen for the first time. Fascinating fun fact, and a little depressing at the same time, that digital model of the Brachiosaur from Jurassic Park went on to become the starting point that they used for the Rontos in the 1997 special edition version of Star Wars A New Hope. So, yeah, thanks Jurassic Park. Still love that dinosaur. Number 5, the Pachycephalosaurus. His name means thick-headed lizard and originated in North America. Man, North America is doing good. It's a bipedal herbivore with an extremely thick skull roof, you know, mostly for bashing each other in the skulls the way you see the mountain rams doing for dominant displays of dominance? Sure, I'm going with that. But its best on-screen representation, it probably came in the Lost World Jurassic Park movie when they captured it, and that was kind of actually sad to see, but it's, you know, it's there, and you get to see one in all its glory. And interesting enough, one of his cousins just appeared in Fallen Kingdom, the, how do I pronounce this? Stigmoloch? It's whatever. And probably one of the most entertaining scenes in that entire movie. Totally awesome. And just a little side note, these dinosaurs I feel would make ideal mounts because they're herbivores, so they're not going to try to eat me, and you know, they'd be great for bashing into your enemy. Also, fascinating fun fact, one of the more recently discovered cousins of the Pachycephalosaurus has quite possibly the most nerdy name I have ever heard, the Dracorex hogwartsia, which literally translates to Dragon King of Hogwarts. The nerds are reproducing and calling the shots, but it's okay because they're dinosaurs. Number 4, the Ankylosaurus. Names translates to fused lizard, also from North America. What? This thing has to be like the organic equivalent of a freaking walking tank with a wrecking ball for a tail. It was known to just freaking break the bones of predators that tried to eat it. Like, so much force that it just would shatter a femur or crack a skull. And it was one of those dinosaurs that I was always the most fascinated with as a child. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was its tank-like structure or whatever. Most notable on-screen appearance has to be in Jurassic, the last, not Fallen Kingdom, but Jurassic World, where it battles the Indominus. Very sad, gets killed, but it always reminded me, the Ankylosaur always reminded me of a battle-ready turtle. Take that as you will. Number 3, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the tyrant lizard king of North America. Because we got all the best dinosaurs up in here. Easily one of the most well represented of the larger theropods. Everybody, and I mean everybody, knows the T-Rex. Some people will still go out of their way to say Tyrannosaurus Rex. You know, it's that well known, that awesome. Highly debated to this day whether or not it was actually an apex predator or a scavenger. I tend to believe that it might have been both, that it would hunt its prey when it felt hungry enough, but at the same time, I doubt it would pass up a free meal laying on the ground. Like, or if it came across some smaller predators chomping down on their meal and it's like, hey, no, give me that, I'm gonna take it. Not the point. When it comes to the Jurassic Park franchise, almost every scene the T-Rex is in is epic and iconic in some way, shape, or form. Except for the scene in Jurassic Park 3 where it's robbed of its victory over the Spinosaurus. Ridiculous. But Rexy does get a bit of redemption in Jurassic World when she goes toe-to-toe with Indominus. And yes, I know she would have lost that if it wasn't for the intervention of Blue and the Mosasaur. Not the point. She looked good doing it. And it just proves that you don't mess with the king. Or in Rexy's case, the queen. Number 2. Stegosaurus. Also known as the roof lizard? Or, covered lizard. That makes way more sense. This dinosaur originated in the West USA and Portugal. Must have been when the places were all fused together. Anyways, this large and heavily built herbivore is one of the most recognizable dinosaurs, considering those broad upright plates and tail tipped with spikes of death. Yeah, never really thought it'd be a great idea to get into a fight with one of those guys. Now, if I'm being honest, one of my main reasons for loving the Stegosaurus so much is the fact that it looked like a four-legged Godzilla with those spines and everything. And if anybody knows me, knows I am a huge Godzilla fan. So, fascinating fun fact. Apparently the Stegosaurus is the state dinosaur of Colorado since 1982. Florida doesn't have one. Did not become a staple of museums until the mid-20th century due to a lack of complete skeletons. Fascinating. Most notable on-screen appearance? The Lost World, where they almost killed Sarah Harding. Would have made it way more interesting. But yeah, this four-legged Godzilla holds a special place in my heart and can only be topped by one other dinosaur. Number 1, the Triceratops. This three-horn-faced North American dinosaur is my favorite of all time. Bearing a large bony frill and 3 horns on its large four-legged body, and possessing similarities with the modern rhinoceros. Which, yeah, I can see. Triceratops is one of the most recognizable of all dinosaurs and the best known of the ceratopsids. I also love the Triceratops because it is portrayed as one of the few herbivores that can actually stand up to a carnivore, mainly the T-Rex. It has gone down in history as the foe of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, where they have battled throughout history, and it's accurate because they both came up in the same time period. So, and also, it was one of the first toys I ever owned. I actually remember, if anybody remembers, is as old as I am, maybe older, the cartoon that was canceled way before its time, Dino Riders. I had the Triceratops, the one that walked on its own, and you could put on the things and make it like all badass and battle ready. Yeah, that toy made me realize that Triceratops was the ultimate mount, because whether you could put freaking lasers on it or not, it was still like perfect for riding on the back of. You could charge into bad guys. He was huge, so you could avoid stuff on the low ground. Triceratops. And apparently since 2010, there is a debate that has been ongoing about the Triceratops and whether or not the Torosaurus is actually just a mature Triceratops or whether or not it's a separate genus altogether. Which, hopefully they figure that out. It'd be kind of cool if they did. But rolling this back to Jurassic Park, I'm kind of disappointed that the most notable on-screen appearance Poor Triceratops is in Jurassic Park 1, where it's all sick and laying there and just kind of. I mean, that scene is still iconic and beautiful and a perfect portrayal of animatronics and whatnot. But come on, the Triceratops is way more awesome than that. Give it its due. Or don't. But what did you think of my list? Do you agree with mine? What are your favorite dinosaurs? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.